Okay, everybody, welcome back to our wrap-up presser for the draft. As a reminder, please turn on your video and use the raise hand function, and you'll be called on. And with that, I'll open it up to Eric.
Okay, thanks, Chad. Overall, it was a very successful day. We got 4 excellent football players, guys we're excited about. Tylan Wallace, too good of a player for us not to take him. Very talented receiver who we saw at the Senior Bowl and quite a bit this fall. Sean Wade, a nickel corner, slot corner. 2 years ago, really excelled as one of the best corners in football. Excited to get him. He's played a lot of good football in a very good conference. Dalen Hayes, a guy that really fits our scheme and fits our defense. Great person, great motor, productive this year. Can be used in a lot of different ways, and gives Coach Martindale, again, another player who can do multiple things very well. And then finally, Ben Mason. Just really kind of epitomizes what Ravens football is about. Tough, physical guy, versatile, plays multiple positions. We had a chance to really watch him quite a bit over the years. We know what he's about, our kind of football player, and we're excited about him as well. So, questions?
We'll start off with Daniel.
Hey, Eric. Obviously, you guys were able to get some guys that you like, but you didn't specifically address the offensive tackle position. Is that just kind of how the board played out over the 3 days, or do you foresee a move in the days to come?
Well, we have some guys that we think are going to compete right now at the right tackle spot. We're excited about that. And as I learned from my mentor, Ozzie Newsome, we don't have to play games till September. And we're confident that we'll have a right tackle. We'll have a strong offensive line. The best guys are going to play. We have great competition, and we'll be ready to play when the time comes.
Jameson?
Hey, Eric, when you look at kind of those, that whole class, when you look at those names on that list, is there any kind of theme or any kind of thing that kind of jumps out, a common thread to you when you look at all those guys and kind of the impact they can make for the Ravens?
I don't know, Jameson. They're just good players. I think they're, big school guys. I will say that given the uncertainty with college football this year, it felt like for us going back last year, we had some really good meetings as a scouting staff last year. And one of the things we talked about was the pandemic and what college football might look like and how that might affect the draft. And it just seemed wise at the time to focus most of our attention on big school guys. And we tried to do that. So, most of our players that we really like this year were Power 5 conference type of guys, big school guys. But in general, we just tried to pick good players, guys that could do multiple things, guys that fit us personality-wise. We tried to pick smart, tough, competitive guys. And, quite honestly, if we had a choice between 2 players and they were equal talents, we would always defer to the guy that really lives like a Raven, so to speak. And that was something that we used to separate a lot of guys this year.
Child?
Yeah, hey, Eric. We have had fans asking a lot of questions about offensive line in the last 2 days. Did you guys not like the depth at tackle or on the interior as much past, say, the first 3 rounds?
Well, we're not going to reach on guys, and, our board might look different from other teams' boards or the media's board. We're going to draft the best players we can at any given spot. And there's a lot of factors. Sometimes there's a medical factor that has to be brought into the equation. Sometimes there's a scheme factor, there's personality factor. There's a lot of different things we look at. So, again, I think we're really comfortable where we are right now as an offensive line and as an offense with personnel. And, certainly if the opportunity presents itself over the next 4 months, 3 months, whatever it is, to add additional players at any position, we'll consider that very strongly and do what's best for the club.
Garrett?
This question is for Coach Harbaugh. Coach, what's the inside scouting report on Ben Mason? And just how do you see him fitting into this offense?
Right. Well, I can tell you that he's Jack and Jackie Harbaugh's favorite player. I told Eric and Ozzie that as we were getting ready to make the pick. So I think that had a big influence on Eric for sure. But he does fit us, our style, who we are. I think it's pretty easy for anybody that's watched us play, and now you've seen some clips on him to understand how he's going to fit into our offense. He's just a perfect fit for what we're trying to do and going forward, building what we're building here on offense. So love his personality, love who he is as a person, love the way he plays. And Jack Harbaugh likes him, especially if Mama Harbaugh likes him, Jackie, then we like him.
Jeff Rebeck.
Joe, can you talk a little bit about versatility? It seems like that was sort of a common denominator with a lot of picks, whether it was Stevens last night, Wade today, Hayes, a lot of guys that can do different things. How much was that sort of a focus during the draft process?
Yeah, I'd say, when someone asked that question earlier, that is one of the commonalities with all these players, or most of these players, is their versatility. You see them play in a lot of different spots. And I think, our scouts, it's easy for them to go out with the coaching staff we have here and the way we can use players and how we move players around. It's really easy to go out and try to look for those guys and get excited about a guy when you can see him playing multiple positions. Sean Wade, he's played inside and outside. We talked about the guys we took on day one and day two. Dalen, he's got his hand in the dirt. He's up as a Sam backer. He's out in coverage. So, and then Ben worked some fullback, tight end, a little bit of H-back, everything at Michigan. And then down at the Senior Bowl, they use him a lot as a traditional tight end. So having these guys show us that in different platforms, it's great to see. And it's easy to present it to the coaching staff.
Luke.
Hey, John, with adding 2 wide receivers in the draft, you got Sammy Watkins in free agency and also bringing in T. Martin and Keith Williams. How are you feeling right now about the wide receiver position and just attacking, improving this passing game from where you've been the last couple of years, knowing you guys want to get a little more efficient?
Right. I feel good about it. I'm excited, in terms of, as you mentioned, the coaching staff. I think we've done a lot of work on, just kind of keep evolving our scheme and building what we're doing in there. And it really is going to come down to execution and, just how you play the game. And that's what I can't wait to get to practice to do that. But adding these players is a big part of it. And then developing our other guys. I think we've got a real strong room. There's going to be a lot of competition. There's a lot of good people in there. They're hard workers. They're all very talented. They're going to push each other, work with each other. Lamar and the quarterbacks are going to be excited too, coaches. It's a great situation.
Kirk.
This question's for Joe. Wondering, how hard is it to not talk about a guy like Ben Cleveland? I've looked around. I can't see that you've mentioned his name too much. A lot of Tevin Jenkins and other guys. We know that coach coveted Ben Cleveland, and then 63 picks later, that guy is there. How satisfying is it when you don't talk about him and then he's there?
It's really easy to not talk about him when you guys don't ask about him. So I never mention names. When you guys ask about players, I wait for you guys to give me names. But yeah, it's great. It was fun, and our scouts, with Ben in particular, we looked at him in the fall. A lot of us had already done him early in the fall or in the middle of the fall. And once we got the coaches involved to see that they liked him as well, it was just kind of, let's see if this guy gets to us. And for him to fall all the way down there, it was fun. It's fun. It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it's a good feeling.
Ryan Mink.
Yeah, kind of on that same note, Eric, before today's draft started, you said you had your eyes on 7 to 10 players that you would be really happy to land. Then as it played out, it seems like guys that at least media types had ranked really high, Tylan Wallace, other guys like that, were somehow still available for you, Sean Wade. Were you surprised that those guys were still there when you were picking?
I think that's just kind of the nature of the draft. I mean, we've been through it now 25 years, and good players fall. And I think if you just stay patient, you stay true, you don't panic, you'll get good players. And it just happens, teams, it's just inherent in all of us. We like different things. We like different foods, different movies. We like different players. And so you're going to get some good players if you just stay patient, you do the work, you trust the system, you give everybody a voice, you'll get good players.
Jerry Coleman.
Eric, I did want to follow up. John answered the question about the wide receiver core. You had another one today. You had 2 during the draft. You would use the word insult or insulted before the draft. Hopefully nobody got insulted with the draft picks you made, but could you talk about the direction you're going with the wide receivers?
Sure. Yeah, we're excited. And, I think one thing that people will learn eventually is that sometimes what we say leading up to the draft, there's different ways to interpret those types of things. And it's a game. The draft is a game, and it never serves us any purpose to give away, any inside information. We're not going to talk about players that we love. We're not going to talk about players that we want to pick, strategies, all those types of things. And so for us, we're competing with other teams. And I think with the receiver position specifically, there was certainly we spent a lot of time looking at guys this year. It wasn't necessarily our intention to draft 2 guys, but we felt like we had a good board. We felt like we evaluated the guys properly. It really helped having a couple new sets of eyes on the offensive coaching staff. Their perspective on receivers was very beneficial, I think, to all of us. And it was a great group of receivers in this year's draft. We had multiple guys, and quite honestly, there's still some good receivers available, in my opinion. Don't know who's just been picked, but as we finished up, we were looking up at the board saying, man, that guy's a good player. That guy's a good player. So if teams want good receivers this year, this seems to be the year to get them. And we're very happy the way it played out. We're excited. But I also want to say that we feel really, really good about the guys already on campus. Those guys are going to compete. They're good players. They're going to help us win a lot of games. All we've done really is just kind of stack the deck and create a lot of competition.
Todd?
And me. As for Coach Harbaugh, hey Coach, with the talent and depth that you have on the current roster, and the 8 guys you're bringing in, how competitive is it going to be to make this team in training camp? And how is that competition going to help you getting ready for the season?
Right, it'll be competitive. I think that's just a great point that you're making. We like to build as deep of a roster as we can because the more good players you have in camp, the better the competition in terms of offense versus defense, one-on-ones, drills that we run. You get better by going against good players. And I think it makes our established veterans better. It makes our young guys better. It's just we like to have a deep roster. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm happy. As a coach, I like the look of the roster, and I'm looking forward to going to work and start practicing and start improving.
Jonas?
For Joe, Eric mentioned the weirdness of this past college football season. A couple of your guys that you took today, yesterday, I guess even on Thursday, they didn't have the best 2020, whether because it was an injury or opting out and then opting back in. Could you just explain kind of the process of weighing what guys had done in previous years and then measuring, I guess, what you saw on tape this year, given all the variables that kind of came into play?
Yeah, certainly. It was challenging for a lot of these college kids. They got a lot to balance, and really each conference did it differently. So you see the Big Ten and the Pac-12, they were the last ones to kick it back off, and obviously some players from those conferences elected to opt out or came back in a little late. Sean was one of those guys that opted out and came back in. And it's just, getting ready for the season. You're sitting at home, you get sent home, you're coming back in, you got a couple weeks to get ready. Some guys went through some struggles, and you just watch how they competed. They may have been dealing with something this year while they were playing, maybe not the same preparation in terms of getting ready for the season. You just watch the competition on film, and then you go back to last year's film when they had a more normal season, and you look at it and match it up and see where they improved or what they did better that year. And I think you put the two together. I think our scouts did a great job of marrying the 2 years up and coming up with an opinion on the players.
Okay, we've got time for 2 more. We'll go to Jameson and then close it out with Jeff.
Eric, you guys exercised the 5th-year option for Lamar. People have asked me, and I don't know the reason for it, but is there a reason why you guys waited that long to exercise it? And do you have any updates as far as contracts with Lamar, any talks or anything like that?
We didn't. There's no reason. There's no conspiracies. We were just getting ready for the draft. There's only so many things that we can do in one day. So I was watching a lot of college tape, trying to get ready for the draft. We've talked about this 100 times. Lamar's a guy that's going to be here. We love him. He's really the face of this team right now in many different ways. He's a leader. He's a good player. and he's our quarterback. So we will work tirelessly to get a deal done. You know, I'm a guy that sort of likes to work with deadlines, and the draft is almost over. So now we'll kind of move on to the next big thing. So, you know, this is behind us almost, not quite yet. We'll finish up with free agency upstairs in probably 3 or 4 hours. But we've got other things now on our plate, and Lamar Jackson's one of those things.
Jeff?
John, this is a two-part question, and the two parts are unrelated. One, when you make up the offensive line and when you look at that, where does Tyree Phillips, do you view him as a tackle, a guard? Will he be in contention there? And the second one, as I said, is unrelated. How does rookie minicamp work? Is it the same, or because there's changes in the offseason program, when will you get these guys on the field?
Right, two good questions. First one with Tyree, he's a right tackle as it stands. I think, you know, we'll see where it goes in terms, like Eric said, things change, and we'll kind of keep adjusting those guys and moving those pieces around over the course of the next few weeks through the rookie minicamp, through the OTAs and the training camp, and we'll come up with a great group by September for sure. Tyree's definitely in the conversation. Tyree can play, he can play right tackle. I think he's going to be a really good tackle. He can play either guard spot. So that's the versatility that he brings. He's a big man, very athletic. He's really new to the game. He played junior college, played 1 or 2 years in high school, junior college, played 2 years there, I think, at Mississippi State. You know, he's young to the game. So he's going to really, I think he's going to make major strides really fast. So start with that, then we'll go from there. As far as rookie minicamp, it's a little bit limited in terms of how many tryout guys you can bring in, but you still bring in your drafted guys, you bring in your undrafted rookie free agents. Certain guys that didn't play last year can come in and be a part of rookie minicamp. And that's really good for our second-year guys because they had no rookie minicamp last year. Then you can bring in a limited number of tryouts. So we'll bring as many guys in as we can and have really good practices. I think that's going to start 2 weeks from yesterday, so a week from next Friday. We'll have the rookie minicamp. Unless I'm mistaken, I'll be corrected if I'm wrong about that. But that's the way I understand it with the rules and where we're at with the rules as they stand for protocols and stuff like that. So can't wait, ready to go to practice, and looking forward to seeing these guys.
Okay, great. Guys, congratulations on a great draft. And to the media, we appreciate your patience and attendance, and we'll be in touch soon with the next availability. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.